Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of AskDproS Business, where we speak to business owners, entrepreneurs. They come on the show to share their journey and their story, in a way to motivate and inspire us, And on this particular episode, I've got Kimberly Young here. She's here to share her journey and her story. She's very big with working with women, and she will share her journey, her story, how she started, and from there, we lead into other things. I spoke to her earlier on before the show, and she's got a lot of things to say about business. She'll tell us, how she started, difficulties, and challenges as well, and hopefully, we can get a thing or two from what she's done and how she's grown her business. And Kimberly, on this show, we always start from the beginning, which means, telling us how the journey started for you. For you, how did it all begin?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I really
You're welcome.
appreciate being on. It's absolutely amazing. I always love talking to entrepreneurs and other business owners, just for the simple fact that there's so much knowledge and we get to share all of that information with everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So, just as he mentioned, I am Kimberly. I am a mom of 3 girls. And so my business really formed out of a sense of settling and being stuck in a situation that I knew that I had to get out of, because I knew that I had more inside of me to pull out and that needed to come out, but I was just so stuck. And so with that being said, you talk about this, the odds stacked against me, came from, so much abuse and teen pregnancy and being homeless and just so many different things that were stacked against me. And eventually just going ahead and moving into, self-discovering or uncovering myself and really pulling out who I knew I was meant to be, right? And who I knew I was meant to help and to serve. And so now I go ahead and I actually serve women that live an unfulfilled life, and I help them pull out their purpose and passion to help profit their pockets.
Yeah. Good. Well, sometimes when we go through difficulties, we have challenges that tend to like put us off, but for you, you just mentioned a couple minutes ago, like, like you had your difficulties as well. Did that stop you in any way?
Oh, absolutely. I think for me, it took me a very long time to actually get to where I am now. And a big part of it was mindset. A big part of it was just I needed to go ahead and get into the mindset and move and really move myself into action. I actually tell people all the time, one of the things I love is ACE. Um, Action cures everything, right? So I started to go ahead and just move into action, listening to podcasts like yours, going ahead and reading different books, just tuning in and really getting in tune with where I wanted to be and who I wanted to become. So absolutely, my challenges were just unbelievable and so many.
Yeah, but when it comes to business, business is hard, to be honest, and it's difficult, plus your challenges as well, how did you come up with the idea of, you know what, I want to work on myself, I want to do things for myself. I also want to help women as well. How did that idea come to you?
So again, another idea that kind of formed out of where I was. So I found that working my regular 9 to 5, I would have so many conversations with women, and women would seek out so much advice from me. And they would say things like, well, I want to be an attorney. I want to open a nail shop. I want to do so many things, so many passions, and so many things that they had inside of them that they didn't know where to start, how to begin, and quite frankly, a lot of them just felt stuck, that they couldn't move on doing those things. And it took you know, a lot of conversation with them to go ahead and say, yes, you can go ahead and do this. And here goes a game plan. And so I would start creating little game plans for them on my lunch breaks and meet with them on my lunch break and say, here was what I came up with. I did some research, try to help you out, did some research, and here you go. And kind of move from there. And slowly but surely, I found that a lot of these women, they would say, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed. It's a plan, it's an individualized plan from A to Z. And it's, yes, practically everything that you need to get done to get to where you need to be, because that's what you told me you wanted, and I'm here to help, right? So that's pretty much how that would work out as far as that goes. And it's not that it just happened to it's only women. It just happened to be women that I kept having these conversations with. Because I've had a couple occasional guys come to me and say, I need to start writing contracts for a business. Okay, well, what do you need in the contract? What needs to go in there? What is this for? And I would help them out too. But for whatever reason, the women, they worked with me more.
Yeah, and they just came along. You just mentioned 9 to 5. I also go 9 to 5 as well. And some of my listeners as well. They also have their day job as well. I also get this question. How do I get to leave my 9 to 5? Or okay, how do I do my 9 to 5 and also have my side also as well? And for you, having your 9 to 5, was it a difficult thing trying to build your side hustle and trying to solve problems with these women and business strategies as well, business plans and all that? How did you match that with your 9 to 5?
Well, as I mentioned, some of these people, a lot of these, one of my first, and I can't even call them clients because they weren't even paying, but like the first set of people that I started working with, they were at my 9 to 5.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, good, good,
And
good,
we
good,
would
nice.
have these conversations maybe over a water cooler, or I'm going to go warm up my lunch, or start having these conversations. And then that's when I would start finding out all these dreams and passions and things that they had built up inside of them. And then, like I said, I would go home in the evenings and start brainstorming, little things that I think, and actually start researching and how can I help? Or, hey, I looked up this and I saw this, and this shouldn't take too much of your time, or whatever the case may be. And, and funny enough, like I said, I would meet them on lunches. I would spend like maybe 20 minutes after work because I'm a single mom, so I had to rush to go pick up my kids from school. So I would, just little tidbits in there. I would do, back then we would do phone calls, right? Start doing phone calls and just saying, hey, listen, I set this time with you. I set this appointment. Let's run through a quick conversation. So really and truly, just anywhere I could get it in. On Saturday mornings, I used to wake up and go to Starbucks sometimes, meet people there. Hey, I'm going to be at Starbucks at 7. Oh, well, 7's too early. Well, 7's when I'm going to be there. If you want my help, I'll be there at 7. And I would do little meetings like that. That's kind of how I had to do it. Because again, I'm a single mom of 3 girls. I literally just had to make it work anywhere in there.
Absolutely, man. Like that. Love that, man. But when was the light bulb moment for you in terms of, okay, I'm going to go into this thing full time, I'm going to go do this full time. When was that moment for you?
So my light bulb came maybe 3 years ago, because I just started to get an overwhelming amount of people requesting that I help them with different things. And I just said, I'm going to have to start charging for this. There has to be a way to go ahead and to start charging and to start doing this, because realistically, like I said, I just started out helping. It was just a matter of, you told me that you have a dream that you want to fulfill, a goal you want to fulfill. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I help you get there. Right. Not with any intention of getting anything in return. It was just, I'm going to go ahead and help you get there. And so like I said, I would find myself just going to help. And the light bulb clicked maybe 3 years ago. And this, by the way, has got to be like maybe a 7 or 8 year journey. If I really start going back to to the very first coworker that I started helping.
Nice. Okay. Now let's try and get into the business nitty-gritty now. Now, creating a business. For instance, I would say when starting the podcast, I thought about different names. You want to have your logo, your name, and you want everything to be to be good. You want everything to be right. For people that will listen to this podcast, because I always have this question: when I want to start business, does the name matter? Does my logo matter? What are all these things between branding and for you? How did you pick your name, your business name?
Oh, my business name right now. So I picked it. By the way, I should also mention this has got to be like my third business, third business. Okay. just so everybody understands.
Okay.
So my first business, that was network marketing. My second business name, I went ahead and I chose because Develop Me by Kimberly, because not only does it sound catchy, but I'm always developing someone and something, right? So Develop Me by Kimberly. That never panned out. And of course, I got rid of that one. Now this one is it's just a plain, LLC management services, Forever Young. And it's just really based off of my family name. And I've told you before, and when we had this conversation, unless you're willing to go ahead and to, start asking a marketing group or asking some of your very close, tight-knit friends what they think of names in itself for a business, you jot down your own names or the marketing group comes up with your names for you. That's really what you would end up, doing in order to go ahead and to actually get a name that you're going to stick with for longevity. You see what I'm saying? Names I have found just from so many names from so many different businesses, they are usually 1 to 2 words. They are, embody exactly what the business necessarily is. They are very catchy, right? I can say Skims and everybody automatically thinks, oh, Kim Kardashian, because it's a play on her name and it's a play on the material of what she's wearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are just so many different things that go into it. So you would have to start really saying, I'm going to be very creative with my name, or and ask, those like-minded people to get their feedback, or say, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to do, a marketing bid and let the marketing company come up with a name for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And this leads to my next question, which is branding. We often talk about business branding or personal branding. For you, what's your take on these two things? Are they the same thing? Are they different? For people that are listening and they're trying to build their business. Because for me, I speaking to a lot of people on this show, they always want to separate both of them. So you have your personal branding and your business branding. For you, what is your take on this? Are they the same thing or are they different?
For me, they're different, but they intertwine simultaneously.
Okay.
And I say that because when you think of certain people, you know exactly what company and what brand they work with. When you think of a certain brand, you know exactly who that person is, or who the owner, the CEO, the founder, whoever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know who it is. So I like to think that they intertwine simultaneously at the same time. I will tell you that I actually did another podcast about this where I was telling someone else, or one of the tips that I gave is that you definitely want to brand yourself. So if you're going to have your business and you're going to brand your business, phenomenal. But spend that time putting you out there, because nothing sells more than going ahead and having a face behind a brand that is relatable to other people, and that people can recognize and say, this is someone I would love to do business with. This person stands for this.
You're absolutely right. Because for me, I think that, when you build your personal brand, people get to know you,
Mm-hmm.
And marketing, strategies, like, we buy from people we know or people we like. And you just mentioned one word now, being relatable. You have to create a relationship as well. You have to build that relationship, have that positive mindset, being relatable, have the people skills, and try to serve the customers, So I think for me, you build your brand, personal brand. Then from there, your business branding comes along as well. Like if you think about Apple, there's one name that comes to your mind: Steve Jobs.
Right.
Elon Musk as well is another one. Sir Richard Branson is another one as well. When you think about their brand, you just see their face there. So for me, building a personal brand, it's good. And like you said, they intertwine. Which is absolutely great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kimberly, what motivates you? What keeps you going?
Oh, this is okay. So this is actually one of my favorite questions to answer, and I will tell you why. So it has a lot to do with my culture and my background. Not a lot of people will know, but I am actually Jamaican. I grew up in Jamaica, went to high school in Jamaica, and then eventually moved to the United States. I will tell you that watching my grandmother, people in the community really keep going after what they want, very persistent, very determined, just going for what they want. And that's literally what I believe keeps me going. Another thing that also keeps me going as well is that I understand that time waits for no man, and I understand that I have a purpose to fulfill, and I get to go ahead and work on those and be in alignment with those. So I, think to myself, and this is something recent that I actually did with one of my friends, if I only had 2 to 3 years left to live, right? Let's say I was diagnosed, because this happens every day. Someone's diagnosed with something absolutely horrible and they only have 2 to 3 years left to live. Would you accomplish everything that you wanted? Could you accomplish everything that you wanted? And that in itself, sets me off on a mission and my own personal tangent. And then, of course, I have my kids.
Yeah, so invariably, you just have to just do what you need to do, instead of procrastinating. Because I've been in that boat once as well, like starting this podcast, it took me a couple of months, like, okay, oh, how am I going to speak to people? What questions am I going to ask? How am I going to get people on my show? And you start thinking about the reason why you shouldn't do it instead of just doing it.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think you just get in the car and just start driving. You definitely meet people that will help you along the way. Like, I've interviewed guys that will tell me, okay, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I love the way you interview, but why don't you do that? Do this? So there's always someone at the bus stop that will probably give you the right direction. So Kimberly, you're absolutely right. You got to do what you got to do. Instead of procrastinating and just waiting, just do it, man. Just do it. Just keep on the grind, man, which is absolutely great.
Be like Nike and just do it, right?
Yeah. Just do it. Absolutely, man. So you've been in business for a while now, and this is your third business. For you, what would you say, are the most difficult things in terms of starting a business or growing a business? What are those things that would probably set you back and say, okay, do I want to do this or do I want to still carry on? What has been your like, could I say breaking point or difficult part of your business?
Yeah. So something that was very difficult for me was not making sure I had my idea completely fleshed out. We all have ideas. We all have them, right? And they weren't given to you for, decoration. They were definitely given to you to go ahead and to fulfill. But not having that idea fleshed out, it can really stop you right in your tracks. A lot of people tend to jump toe first into things. And while that works for some businesses, it does not work for all of them. So I always tell people, get clarity, spend some time with yourself and understand who you serve, what you want to do, what product you want to sell. How do you want your people, your customers, your clients to feel after they've encountered your product or service, right? And then go into fleshing out that idea. How much is it going to cost? Where can I go ahead and where can I get funding from? Who do I need to network with? Maybe I can, and just kind of start playing with the idea. Another thing I always like to say is this is where it really comes in, is your mindset, right? Be determined and be persistent, and don't let the negative things that tend to slip in, right? You're gonna have to kick those to the curb, because you got an idea that we're trying to bring into fruition, right? So I always like to tell people that you definitely have to have it fleshed out and have the mindset to be ready to go all in.
Absolutely, Kimberly. So if you had to go back, let's say back a couple of years, what would you do differently?
Oh my gosh, what wouldn't I do differently? I'm like so critical of myself. I'm super critical of myself. I think what I would have done differently was start sooner. It was right in front of my face this whole time, and it took me years. Why? So I definitely would have been like Nike and started and just do it. But I would have also fleshed this out a lot sooner. I would have also gone ahead and call upon a lot of people, because you, just like you said, you'd be so surprised how many people out there are willing to help you, right? You network, you meet people, and you just be so surprised. So that would also be something else I would do differently.
Yeah, absolutely nice. And it's great when you just, when you recognize your mistakes, and you try to improve on them as well. Because one thing is owning up to your mistake, telling yourself the truth, because you are the only one that You're the only one that will criticize yourself and said, I'm not doing this right. How can I do this better? And I believe that, as time goes on, we change is inevitable. Change it's a constant thing in life that we need to make. No, probably know how to make things better, make things different, make things differently. And I always use myself as an example. When I started this podcast, I started with some, just normal audio recording stuff. It was good, but it could be better. So I definitely improved on that, got new stuff, trying to just make the whole thing sound better and picture as well and quality as well, So it's good to always have that sense of improvement in you, to make your business grow and better. So I know you're big on, helping women and working with women, Do you also work with men as well?
Yes, I actually do. I've had my male friends, they'll call me or they'll recommend someone else to me saying, "Hey, I need help with," and okay, no problem. I will tell you that it's it's more interesting with men because they want to be so much more technical about it, and I'm like, it doesn't have to be that technical. It really doesn't. It's this. And usually when I sit down with them and kind of give them their roadmap, their individualized roadmap, then they're like, okay, I could see where this is going to go. And it usually works out for them. So, yeah.
Yeah. So if someone was to ask you, Kimberly, I've been struggling. I want to start a business. I want to do a lot of stuff. I know you've done it as well. What would be your advice to this person?
My,
It could be a man or a woman.
yeah. My very first question is, what is the end goal? What is the end goal? Because we can start with the end in mind, right? And then we kind of go backwards. What is it that you want? We want to open a coffee shop. Perfect. Now we're going to go into how much it costs to open a coffee shop. How are you looking to leave your 9 to 5 and do this full time? Are we going to, we start going into pulling permits, what city, considering, what areas, just going through the whole thing, start to finish. And then going from there, are we talking about, how much capital can we spare, as far as getting this out there? How are we going to make sure that people know that there's actually a coffee shop around the corner from them, right? How are they? Because you clearly can't open it and nobody knows that it's there. So how are we going to go ahead and how are we going to make this happen? Where can we get our products, our tools? What are the things that you have to have in a coffee shop? How about that? Like, how much is this equipment going to cost? And really kind of go from A to Z with the whole entire thing. But my very first question, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is the end goal? So that way we can start going through a series of questions.
Yeah, and you have to get your strategy right as well. And you have to think about marketing, like spoke some minutes back, branding as well. You have to think about that as well. And think about, okay, like you said, your end goal, who are your customers? Who are the people you want to, cater for? Who are those people that you want to meet?
Yeah, exactly. As far as just all of it, what type of a coffee shop do you want? Do you want a, contemporary coffee shop? Do you want a coffee shop for believers? Do you want a coffee shop for, because then that has a lot to do with who you serve, and who you serve has a lot to do with the branding and the marketing of it, right? So that's a whole different, ballgame when we start going down those questions. So again, it has to be fleshed out. So what's the end goal? And then let's flesh out an idea of what exactly you're looking to do.
Absolutely, man. Nice, man. People talk about work-life balance, how to balance. People talk about that. I know you having 3 kids, it's a law in your hands already, and you got your business going, for you, how do you manage your time when it comes to time management? Is there anything like that?
Oh, so I am the queen-ish. And again, started out of the fact that I found myself missing some kids' events. I had kids with long faces. I had kids that were so upset with me. Mom, we had this conversation and I feel so guilty, like mom guilt would really step in. So guilty. And what ended up happening is I just said, nope, I got to be a better steward and be more present when I'm with them instead of thinking of 20 million things, but definitely being present and listening to them. I got super, super tight on my time, with people. So super tight on paying attention to my time. Slotted in a lot of, downtime, family time that I knew that it would go ahead and that it would come in. I started to walk with a little notebook. People would actually laugh at me because I would walk with a little notebook, right? So I could jot down things throughout the day if I needed to. And yeah, that's just really how I did it. And then of course, because it's 3 kids, 3 different lives, 3 different parts of life, right? I'm doing volleyball, I'm doing swimming, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So a lot of times my phone and my laptop will be with me as I'm with my kids, because then the conversation really comes in afterwards or before on our way there. And I would just, like I said, just really try to be as present as possible, because I just didn't like how I felt as a mom, where I was missing things or not paying attention to certain things, and then just focused on, the business, and then actually working a regular 9 to 5 rather than on them themselves. So while I think that it's difficult to do as a parent, it can be done.
Yeah, absolutely, 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 man. I can just imagine you juggling all that together, man, and you still you still have clients that you want to serve as well, people waiting
Yeah.
for your emails and waiting to get hear from you. But we tend to bear ourselves in, we want to start a business, you want to live life as it is, but there's this question I always ask the guests, like, okay, when all this is done, what would you want to be remembered for? Now we're talking about legacy. A lot of people shy from this question, like, oh, legacy, oh, I'm scared about this, but for you, Kimberly, for you, what would you want your legacy to look like?
So I'm actually glad you asked that question. That is not a question I shy away from, because that impacts the end game, right? That impacts exactly what I'm looking to do. There's a quote by Kevin Hart where he says that every day you are writing a story, every day you are writing a page in your book. What does the end of your book say about you? So, with that in mind, my legacy is to go ahead and to make sure that I can say I helped XYZ women pull out their passions and pull out their dreams and turn it into profit. I helped, underaged or youth with scholarships for colleges. I helped, start financial assistance for families that were desperately in need, because I was once there and I know what that was like. There are just so many different things that I actually have written down as my legacy, but those are definitely my top 3. And that doesn't even include my own personal family legacy that I'm looking to leave.
Nice, man. I love your answer. I like that. But I know you've been featured on the magazine, right? How did
Yeah.
that how did that feel?
That was amazing. They were absolutely phenomenal. They were amazing. It was a random out of the blue. This was for my second business. Random out of the blue, we want to feature in a magazine. And I was like, yes, of course, why not? So definitely did that. And it was just such a great feeling, really humbling experience, because it kind of goes into, I've been doing this for a while. And finally, it's like somebody was like, yes, we want you to tell your story. So it was really great.
Yeah, and telling your story is great as well, because you are the only one that can tell that story. It's your story, it's your journey, it's your mission. So you're the best person for that.
Great. Great.
Great, 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 great. It's been nice having this conversation with you, and I know that we've touched on a lot of stuff, starting a business, branding, your personal life as well. We spoke about that as well. But if someone is looking to work with a business partner, what is the thing that you do differently that I say, okay, do you know what? Instead of working with X person, I'm going to work with Kimberly. What is that thing that makes you stand out?
So I would like to tell you it's an individualized plan that each person actually gets when they work with me. No two people are alike. I don't care if both of you are trying to start a coffee business. No, I keep using coffee. It's funny because I'm not a coffee person either.
I was gonna ask you, do you have a coffee shop or you like coffee?
No, I don't. None of the above.
Okay.
But to me, no two people are alike. And so while the permitting may be the same in some cases, there's a lot of things that are going to be definitely different about it. So I like to give individualized plans to the people that I work with. I like to make sure that we sit down, we have a conversation. After we have that conversation of what your end goal is, get that clarity call, then we go into, yes, this is what I've come up with. How do you feel about this? Not because I say to do it, but because I've mapped it out and I can kind of figure out that this would be the best way to do it for you. If you don't like anything, by all means, we could definitely change it. But it's personalized and tailored to that person and no one else.
Absolutely, man. I like that. So you get what you really want, not a general strategy, just for yourself.
Yeah,
Good.
no cookie cutter.
Great. Love that. For those people that will listen to this or watch this as well, what is that thing that you want to leave them with?
Ooh, there's so many. So one of the things, and it'll be the same thing I always echo. It's to get clarity. Get clarity on what you want, get clarity on who you want to be, and get clarity what you want for that last chapter in your book of your life.
Yeah. And there's when we spoke, I know you're a Christian, you're very big, you're a big believer as well, this, just a random question. Do you think, we need to, commit this to, for those that believe in God, even though you don't believe in God as well, you believe in something, is it always good to commit your business or your plans, your strategies to someone that you believe in? And say, I'm committing all this to God and I want God to help me, Do you think it's really important to commit all that to God?
Oh, so it really depends on the person. So as you mentioned, I'm definitely a huge believer. And for me, I believe none of this is possible without him. There's too many coincidences, call it serendipity if you like, but there's too many coincidences along the way of my life that I cannot say someone else or something else or entity, whether the God, the universe, whatever you believe, was not going ahead and guiding and pulling me into those directions and pulling me to where I believe. So for me, it is, yes, God, I'm leaving this for you to go ahead and do this. And I read this quote yesterday by somebody else. Sometimes some of those things or some of those goals and some of those dreams and things that you have are too big that only God alone can do it for you. And I'm definitely one of those people that fall on that category.
Absolutely. Kimberly, it's been nice having this chat with you, and learn a lot of stuff from you. Hopefully the listeners, the viewers, you take a thing or two from this. And I want to thank you for coming on the show. And I know people are busy doing like you're a very busy mom with three. And you have your business going as well. I want to really want to take this time to thank you. And I'm grateful for the time. And I know that future wise, we're going to do things together, and we're definitely going to, we have been in a relationship here, like we said a couple of minutes ago. It's been relatable, and having that positive relationship as well, and I'm really grateful for your time as well.
Thank you so much. This is so much fun. I always love coming in, dropping nuggets and dropping stuff because I just feel like it's going to help somebody. Somebody's going to hear this and somebody's going to be like, yes, say that again, Kimberly.
Definitely. And my motto is even if it helps one person,
Yeah.
our mission is definitely accomplished. Our mission is accomplished, even though it's one person.
Right. I don't disagree. You're so right about that. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, nice one, Kimberly, man. Nice.